Sultan Muhammad Al-Fatih, Conqueror of Constantinople, the young man who changed the world. Imagine, a 21-year-old young man, not a gamer, not an influencer, but the conqueror of the world's most legendary fortress. His name is Sultan Muhammad Al-Fatih, a young man who changed the map of world history and proved that big dreams plus strong faith equals history that lives forever. One day, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Constantinople will surely be conquered. The best leader is the leader who leads it, and the best army is the army that commands it." And since then, for hundreds of years, Muslims have tried, failed, and then tried again. But the giant fortress of Constantinople stood strong. Many kings gave up, but not Muhammad Al-Fatih. Young Muhammad wasn't raised with wealth, but with knowledge and faith. His teachers weren't just anyone. There was Sheikh Shamsuddin, a great scholar who instilled in him the belief, "You are not just a prince. You are the future leader the Prophet Muhammad will call upon." Imagine being raised with such powerful words. You probably wouldn't have stayed in bed for long. Constantinople was surrounded by a thick, triple-walled wall and a steel-chained sea. Everyone said, "It's impossible to penetrate." But Al-Fatih replied, "If ships can't go by sea, then they'll go by land." And sure enough, dozens of ships were dragged across Galata Hill with oil and logs. It was as if the sea had moved. Imagine, if there were a young leader like him today. Maybe Elon Musk would be clapping his hands and saying, "That's innovation." May 29, 1453. Dawn. Ottoman soldiers prostrated themselves on the ground, chanting the Takbir. Meanwhile, across the street, Constantinople shook with the boom of the world's largest cannon at the time, the Great Bombard. After 53 days of siege, the walls, which were said to be eternal, collapsed. The Takbir echoed, and Muhammad Al-Fatih entered the city weeping. Not out of arrogance, but out of gratitude. He didn't destroy, he built. He didn't seek revenge, he forgave. He kept the Prophet's promise. Upon entering the city, Sultan Al-Fatih dismounted his troops. He walked towards the Hagia Sophia church, signaling, "Today is not a conquest for power, but for humanity." He converted the church into a mosque, but didn't force its inhabitants to convert to Islam, because he knew, true victory is not when the enemy is defeated, but when people's hearts are touched. Today, 500 years later, the name of Muhammad Al-Fatih is still spoken with reverence throughout the world. Even many Western scholars acknowledge he was not just a conqueror, but a symbol of a visionary leader with faith. Imagine, 21 years old, already writing world history. How old are you now? You can still start writing your own history, right? From Al-Fatih, we learn that faith is not a barrier to progress, but rather the fuel to glory. So, don't underestimate dreams. Because sometimes, one bold dream can change the world.